Isn't that something? It's from a project in the UK about keeping nature in a focus, and I'd be glad to give you more information about it because it's really a fantastic project that they're working on. So I'm so glad to be here this morning. It's a special day today, November 2nd. All Saints' Day is a day that was originally set aside to honor the martyrs who had died for their faith, and then was expanded in to include all of the saints, and that was on November 1st. And All Souls' Day began in France in the 11th century, and it was centered on celebrated on November 2nd, and it focused on the faithful departed who still needed to be, according to the church, purged of their sins so they could get into heaven. So, but the one we're going to focus on today is Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. And it's a Mexican holiday that takes place on November 2nd. So we're right on the day. Isn't that amazing? It's a national holiday in Mexico, and it's considered the most important holiday of the year. And it's a really old one, too. This is a festival to celebrate the dead. It's an old tradition that started 3,000 years ago. That's 2,000 years before the Aztecs, who celebrated it as well. And this is a celebration of life. Ofrendas, or altars, are created for the deceased loved ones. Families celebrate their loved ones who make the long journey home from the land of the dead to come visit on November 2nd. On November 1st, the children are celebrated, the angelitas, or little angels. Life is only a dream, they said. Only in death are we truly awake. Dia de los Muertos seems to be a chance to laugh at death and show that you are not afraid. And we can relate to that, can't we? So today we stand in this space between the worlds, the time when we honor those who came before us, and the ways that their light continues on through us. The loved ones who have transitioned are part of the ongoing expression of divine life. In unity, we see them not as gone, but as energy transformed, their love and lessons still present. All of life is in relation, and no one is ever truly alone. We know that all is one. Unity states there is no death in spirit, only transformation. Let's take a moment now to just remember our loved ones and how wonderful that today is that day of remembrance. And of course, it just all landed in synchronicity. So if you've brought a picture, which we have several up here, if there's anyone else that has a picture that you'd like to set up, you could set it up there now, or someone can bring it up for you. I thought maybe Glenn could help with that if he didn't mind. Thank you so much for sharing those. Is there room? Yeah. We can set some of those down off there if we need to. The pictures are important. Thank you. There you go.
We need more space for next time.
There, the picture. Let me put my code in. Oh, there you go.
This one here, this one.
There's some pictures in my.
As long as it stays.
Thank you for sharing that. There you go. Thank you so much, Glenn. Each of us is a living message, a divine expression unfolding through the rhythm of change. As we honor those who came before us and the sacred transition within us, we remember that we are not separate from the divine rhythm. We are that rhythm, breathing and becoming through it. Life is continuous change. I've heard it's the only constant you can be sure of is that change is happening. Change is the only thing we can count on. And it's in the cycles of nature and in the day-to-day weather. It's in our physical experience from embryo to infant, and each stage of development we go through throughout our life. Change is life's constant invitation to grow. But change can feel uncomfortable. We don't know what to expect. It can make us feel vulnerable. And let's face it, the unknown can feel downright scary. When you don't know where you're going, it's like you're facing that cliff that you might fall off of. You just don't know yet. I have just completed the ministerial certificate. Thursday, I took the last capstone test. It's done. Thank you. and in this, in some of my studies, I learned about this cycle of socialization. We're born into the world with social identity and power, where social identity and power are misinformed, and bias, stereotyping, tradition, and history of oppression already exist. We come into it in place. It reminds me of Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The Four Agreements, and what he called conditioning in his story. Seems that it's everywhere in where humans are. We just have that experience, don't we? As we grow, we make life choices and develop our beliefs. All the while, we are immersed into this system. Rewards and punishments keep us playing the game. And the core of this system is ignorance, insecurity, confusion, and fear. This system informs how we might understand the transitions that continually occur in our lives, if, that is, our thoughts and decisions are informed by the fear, confusion, and insecurity of this system. And there's another system that I learned about, the cycle of liberation. This already sounds a little better, doesn't it? At the core of this cycle is self-love, hope, self-esteem, balance, joy, support, security, spiritual base, and authentic love for others. Here, our beliefs about ourselves are informed by love. From this awareness, we become self-empowered. Through introspection, education, and consciousness raising, we move to live in a way that connects with others, supports good for everyone, and finds inspiration and peace through spiritual practice and a relationship with the divine. The way we understand ourselves and others raises to a new level of awareness and understanding. From this way, transitions in our lives are filled with meaning and compassion instead of fear and anger. Love becomes the underlying power that moves us in ways that we didn't know were even possible before that. Transitions become a way of experiencing and participating in our spiritual growth and awareness. We come to know the sacred rhythm of life. We're part of it. Each of us has meaning in our lives. We have a purpose for being here. It does not have to be some big accomplishment, but by living from our truth, we are here to live our lives with meaning and awareness. What a difference it makes in the experience we have here, right? Being true to ourselves. Last Sunday afternoon, I attended a concert here in Port Angeles, and I ran into Eva there also. It was a Spanish guitar music played by a lead guitarist, Pablo Sanz Villejas, along with a second guitarist, a percussionist, and a bass player. I knew it was going to be wonderful. Spanish music, Spanish guitar music, just it's passionate, it's beautiful, it's energetic. But he introduced each one of the pieces with such care and such understanding for each of the people with him. You could just feel the love between these people. Did you feel that as well? It was just such, it just took the music to a whole nother place for me. He included his fellow musicians on stage, and they just had such a warmth and connection. I was drawn in by the combination of the music and their skill coupled with the love that exuded from these four men from Spain. Then several pieces into the concert, Pablo Villejas introduced the next piece, telling the audience about the story behind it and how the music shares the story, followed by another piece that puts to music the emotions of a couple who were experiencing the grief of losing a child. The music expressed the experience of their grief. It moves from loss and sadness to then transcend their sorrow toward the continuous love of God. Then he said, I know you want to clap, but don't clap. Just take it in. And he had us in the palm of his hands. The whole audience was just mesmerized. There must have been, I'm guessing, 400 people there. And when that first piece stopped, silence. And I know other people were experiencing what I was feeling of remembering loved ones and the process that we've already gone through with the grief and sorrow we've experienced. And then a whole nother experience of that process and that transcending that grief happened. It was just amazing. I had no idea that that concert was going to be such a moving experience. It was wonderful. And a friend invited me. I mean, it was even, I didn't even know about it until she invited me. The divine universe offers us what we need. It can, if we can receive the good it has to offer, we can continue to raise our awareness, to become more like it until we find that Christ consciousness. We too can live in the understanding and the knowing that Jesus walked the earth with. He told us, this and far greater things you'll do than I've done. Creation is filled with what carries us and heals us. We are nature as well, and we weren't designed to suffer through the transitions in our lives the way society has shown us. Our feelings are there to guide us, not to hold us captive. Not to hold us captive to that pain and suffering. We can pay attention to the messages of our feelings and bring them and move through them so that they're released. All around us is the medicine we need to be whole. It came with this creation. It's already here. The water has its negative ions that when you're near the water, you can feel how much better you feel. And they help us with that when we're close. The soil has its microbes that my mom even used to say, putting your hands in the dirt is really good for you. And it brings us healing and helps us in feeling better. The trees and the plants around us bring us oxygen and truth. Someone told me once that the Native Americans said the trees tell the truth. And if you put your back against them and give a gift, a symbolic gift, and ask a question, the trees will give you an answer. And I've had that experience a few times. Try it sometime. If the tree is a little wider than your back, it helps, but it's amazing. It's just amazing. The sounds of nature vibrate the energy of life, of wholeness. We heard some of the sounds of the birds singing and what a variety there is. It's just amazing. We all go through changes in our lives. These transitions from one experience to another can be thrilling, and they can be difficult. But the only way out is through. Don't linger out there worrying about it or avoiding it. Go through it. We must recognize our feelings before we can move through them. We were meant to feel the feelings, get the message they brought, and then move through them and be free of them. We honor physical transitions, but we also experience spiritual ones every day. We die to old patterns, to outdated beliefs, to identities that no longer serve our soul's expression. Each change is an invitation to remember who we really are. There is a sacred rhythm to life, and we're part of that. We have the choice to live through the core beliefs of the cycle of socialization that include fear, ignorance, insecurity, and confusion, or we can live from the core beliefs of the cycle of liberation, the beliefs of love, balance, and joy. We can live with self-love, hope and self-esteem, security, and authentic love for each other. There's a spiritual life that knows God, knows the intelligence and beauty that God is. We can trust it. We can have faith in it. And we can find the good that is always there for every one of us. And you really know you're getting there when you can look in the faces of the people that you have a hard time with, and you can see God there too. You know you're getting there. This is where we can live an authentic life. Gandhi once asked, "What is his message?" My life is my message," was his reply. We too are meant to be living examples. In unity, we are expressions of the Christ consciousness. So our daily actions, relationships, and choices become our message. We live consciously so that our message is not just spoken, but embodied. Eventually, we will make our transition out of this body, since we didn't come to stay here forever. But as the title of this message says, we are living through the transitions of our lives because we're eternal beings. As my friend Michael Laxo says, nobody's dying here. We transition, we never die. In unity terms, every ending is an unfolding, not a loss. You don't have to do grand things to live your message. You just need to live with awareness, compassion, and authenticity. The way you love, the way you forgive and listen and serve is your message. Ask yourself, what values do I want to embody? And what am I willing to release so my life can more fully express spirit? Who or what am I becoming? Each of us is a living message, a divine expression unfolding through the rhythm of change. Say to yourself, I live my message with awareness, love, and grace. As we honor those who came before and the sacred transitions within us, we remember we are not separate from the divine rhythm. We are the rhythm, breathing and becoming through it. Living our lives with love, faith, and gratitude, we find our way to knowing the oneness that we are. May we continue living consciously so that our message is not just spoken, but embodied in every word, every act, every breath. And so it is. Thank you.